YouTube, what did YouTube down home news TV? I am Dre. So I just came across U.S. Senator Alex Padilla crying, saying, "Oh my gosh, they put me on the floor and blah blah blah." What do you expect when you interrupt a press conference like that and you won't sit down or wait your turn for questions and things like that? You just abruptly enter with your nonsense when a lady, Christy Noem's, trying to make a speech. But I'm just show y'all a few little clips. This is when it happened last week, the actual incident.
Exaggerating and embellishing. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. Exaggerating and embellishing. Sir, hands up. I'm Senator Alex Padilla. I have questions for the secretary, because the fact of the matter is, I have a dozen violent criminals that you're rotating on your.
I also want to know
Pretty big man.
how many of our ICE agents have been docked.
On the ground. Hands behind your back.
If you let my hands go, I put behind my back.
All right. Cool. Other hand. Lay flat.
Other hand, sir. Other hand.
So that was the initial incident. And here come the Democrats with their little sob stories. Check it out. Adam, what do they call him? Pencil neck shift.
I just watched footage of our colleague, my California colleague, Senator Alex Padilla, being forcibly removed from a briefing by the Secretary of Homeland Security's staff. He went there to observe and to ask questions, and I watched with horror on this video, seeing these agents grab my colleague, my fellow senator from California, grab him, push him out of the hearing as he was identifying himself as a U.S. senator, bring him into a hallway, bring him down to the ground, bring his arms behind his back. I saw this happen to my colleague.
So scary.
And I am shocked by how far we have descended in the first 140 days of this administration.
I mentioned a few minutes ago that I had seen a video that sickened my stomach. A U.S. senator being manhandled, we now know, by federal agents and dragged out of a hearing room. Now there's a second video. It's even worse. He's been thrown to the ground, again, manhandled, brutally taken down, handcuffed. It was disgusting. Anyone who looks at it turns anyone who looks at this, it will turn their stomach to look at this video and see what happened. Reeks of totalitarianism. This is not what democracies do.
He hasn't obviously been in the streets when police are actually going after criminals. That was like little patty cake detention right there, or patty cake situation where they detained him. They gave him time to get on his knees, get to the ground. They didn't jerk his arm behind his back like I'm not going to say most cops, because most cops aren't like that, but we run into those cops that have like a little ego problem, all jacked up on test pills or steroids or whatever someone be taking. I ran into one like that before. Want to hear the story? Well, I'll tell you. But what happened? What was it? So we had some power lines being reinstalled. They had a fire truck in the middle of the road. The person in the fire truck just pointed, told me to detour around. So I did. Went through the park, cut through the parking lot, went around. and I waited because I was under the assumption that it was going to be done shortly. Anyway, police guy in his cruiser pulls me over, or pulls up behind me. I was already parked. He's like, "What the hell are you thinking? That's a quick way to go to jail." Blah, 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 things like that. Maybe now Senator Padilla, maybe, understands what normal citizens go through when we run into a bad police officer.
I've come to the floor to
Even though they're exaggerating the hell out of this situation, but
say extremely outraged that the executive branch's security team have shoved a U.S. senator out of a room, have proceeded to put that U.S. senator on the ground and to handcuff that senator. This is what we expect to see in authoritarian nations. They can't tolerate a question, and they start to attack the institutions. This is what we're seeing in the U.S. right now. We're seeing it in the form of the president willfully breaking the law on the rules controlling the executive branch.
Our democracy are now administration.
The video. They just watch
Pocahontas.
And the law enforcement that works for the administration to do that to a United States senator.
Now, if you're not yet convinced that President Trump and his administration are trying to suppress free speech, then just watch the video. Watch the video. If you are not yet convinced that President Trump and his administration are trying to undermine the foundations of our democracy, watch the video. If you are not yet convinced that President Trump and his administration are hell-bent on punishing people with differing opinions than those of the president, then watch the video. And here's the really chilling part. Make no mistake. What happened to Senator Padilla today is happening every day all across this country.
He was met with violence.
They
heaped upon him indignities. They drove him to his knees and then to his face, and they put him in cuffs. Well, they didn't assault. They didn't just assault the physicality of Alex Padilla. They did not succeed in assaulting his dignity. I know he rose off that ground with the same dignity he had before they threw him upon it. What they assaulted today is the dignity of this body. What is in question now is the truth of who we are and what we stand for. This is an abuse of power. This is a violent...
Blah, blah, blah. What did I want to get to? Oh, yeah, Mr. Padilla. He's finally speaking. Let's see what he has to say. Crybaby.
I was forced to the ground.
First
on my knees, and then flat on my chest. And as I was handcuffed and marched down a hallway, repeatedly asking, why am I being detained?
Disturbing the peace.
Not once did they tell me why. I pray you never have a moment like this.
Yeah, I just thought that was pretty funny. What did they say? You F around and find out, and he got the light end of it. He didn't get assaulted. It wasn't no, hey, put your hands up, and grabbing them and slinging them around the damn office. I think politicians, a lot of politicians wish they were more like actors. That's what they try to pretend to be. But they're not very good at it. I see why they stuck to or chose the path of being a politician. Because you get not quite as, money's probably not as quite as good, but you get to be in a spotlight. They can say, hey, we need you to go in and disrupt the press conference. And then we're gonna paint the scenario that you're a victim, and we're gonna put all of these sad sob stories out, and yeah, we're gonna just make the world feel for our hang because we didn't do anything wrong. We just wanted to ask questions. I don't know. People, please don't fall for the shenanigans. But it was kind of, I don't know. I just stumbled across it and I thought it was pretty funny. But yeah, let me know what y'all think. Black man, now what y'all think. Down home.